Welcome, everybody. We're excited to bring to you our first ever new webinar, or webinar for new members, and just a reminder of all the cool things that we can do for you. We're going to have some polling questions, so stay engaged, and we also have a drawing at the end for everyone who signed up and attended today. Some really cool prizes. We want to just kind of go through all of the cool things that we're offering. A lot of it will be from our website, so you can navigate it better. But I also do want to remind all of you that we have some really cool committees. Our committees are doing some amazing work in support of you, our members. Our advocacy committee is working with other associations, other groups to fight for our commissioning providers and for the process of commissioning to make sure we're doing the best we can for our owners. We also have our conference committee. We'll talk a lot about that today. It's coming up September 21st, we'll get kicked off. But that committee does a lot of work to really understand what's happening in the market and bring you the most up-to-date stuff. Looking for people on all of our committees. So think about that, our best practices. Our marketing and outreach. So look them up on the website and see if there's a place there you might want to get involved. The board of directors this year is also taking a look at our long-term strategic plan and making sure we're still in aligned with what's happening in the market. You might see a couple of surveys coming to you. You might hear about it in your chapters looking for feedback. Please, this is the time for you to help us decide how your association is going to move forward. I think many of you know that we've been able to be agile and be the only commissioning organization all about commissioning all the time. And that is one of our benefits to you as a member. We're not focused on a wide variety of things. We're staying small so that we can be agile and adjust to the market, adjust to what our owners need to keep delivering. Our mission is to drive the built environment to the highest levels of optimization. And we want to keep doing that, helping our owners get the buildings they're looking for. So with that, I'd kind of like to turn over right now to Kevin Thurston, if I get this right, who's going to give you some information on our website. And I think we have our first polling question. Is that correct?
We do. And the first polling question is, what state or province are you located in?
So you'll see something coming up on the screen here. And Sherry, I'm not sure if we'll see it or if just the attendees are going to see it. There it is.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
You probably have to scroll down a little bit to find all of them. Oh, I think all of them, yeah. So
there's two questions there. The second one, I think, is for when Vince will be talking. So I don't know, do you want him to answer both right now, Liz?
No, just let's do the first one.
Okay.
Mid-Atlantic is shining through, followed by Central. Awesome, guys.
Okay, and would you like me to just start talking, or do we want to wait for that poll to close? Oh, well.
So Kevin, why don't you go ahead and get started here?
Okay, so my overview will be a little bit about us as far as chapters and committees going, and then accessing the corporate and the member directory. So a little bit about us, as Liz mentioned, there are committees, and off our main page, you can find the different committees that are available to us. If at some point you would like to become involved, there are little write-ups on what each committee is responsible for, as well as how to apply to become active in those. The board of directors for the international board, which we call the IBOD, you can find by clicking the link under the About Us for board of directors, and you can see our illustrious leaders that are on the IBOD. These people are very involved and help keep this organization going. But from a chapter side, which is probably the most pertinent to yourselves, is you can scroll down and find the chapter directory. And from that, you will see a nice map of North America with the different colors showing which chapters are responsible for what. I happen to be in Western Canada. So if I click on the Western Canada region, I will see the region come up again, kind of an idea of where we serve and what we're responsible for. We have chapter events that we list. We just recently held the 1.5-day existing building and new construction commissioning courses in Calgary during Stampede, which were quite successful, as well as an event that we had in between the two on Tuesday evening. We all went to the chuck wagon races at the Calgary Stampede. So very successful. As you scroll down to the bottom, you can see our chapter board members. You can see there's myself right there. I'm the current president of the Western Canada chapter. Typically, you can see other events that are going on. For example, if you're in the Texas chapter and you were to click on Texas, you would see that in the next couple of days, the Texas chapter is having their Texas chapter summit. So you could find out, look at the agenda and take it from there and see if that's something that you would want to attend.
Hey, Kevin,
yeah.
quick question. So, within your chapters, if you are looking to get a hold of you, how would I do that? Can I do that through the website?
I believe so. There should be. I just want to make sure to show where it is. If you were to email me there, so you can email any one of your chapter board of directors if you had something that you wanted to ask or find out when our monthly meetings are. We typically, for our Western Canada, we with each email of the minutes from our last board meeting is an invitation to the next one in the next month. So, and I think that's the way most of the chapters operate. Now, from a resource standpoint for membership, if you go over to the membership drop down here and just click on membership, you will be able to scroll to the bottom. And this is where you have two opportunities to find out other members in the BCA. There's a corporate directory, which you don't need to be logged into, and a member directory, which is exclusive only to members of the BCA. So for example, on the corporate, you can put in let's say you're looking for like a building enclosure in the United States. You needed to partner with someone. You're responding to an RFP that you are going to be requiring this. You can submit it, and you could actually look up specifically building enclosure. Whoops, sorry, it did not select building enclosure. There we go. And you can submit it, and you would get a listing of all the building enclosure specialists if you needed to, say, partner with someone like that. If you were looking for just the member directory, say you wanted to find someone in all categories, maybe you wanted someone just in Washington State, for example, you could go and select Washington, submit that, and you would see a listing of all the commissioning providers in Washington that provide those services. So that is basically the use of the online directory for corporate and for individuals. So Vince, I believe you are next, or is it Tom? Sorry.
It's me. Actually, if you could do me a quick favor and unshare just so I can.
There we go. I am no longer sharing. Go ahead, Vince.
All right. Bear with me, everyone. Got a lot of technical difficulties. Okay. So I believe there is a polling question that was probably shown for the first one, but if share that back up again, Ms. Sherry. Oh, there's our fearless leader, John.
And Vince, my apologies, the polling
right.
question is not wanting to come up because you cannot see anything, I don't believe, at the moment.
Nope.
Correct?
Nope.
But you remember what the question was? What training topics would you like to learn more about?
Right. And so interesting enough, I have the feedback, so it is sharing on my screen. So interesting enough, we're really kind of looks like here we're really kind of focused on the digital side of things. So building automation systems and data analytics, which is great because, you know, data analytics is now starting to come up a little bit more and more with our ongoing commissioning. So as a membership or as co-chair of the membership committee, you know, we'll sit down and we'll try to figure out how we can get more of these more of these trainings into your hands. Speaking of the training side of things, let me just tweak into this a little bit. So for those of you that are new to the BCA, welcome. There are some great resources on here. And I don't know if you've had some time to peruse through here. And by the way, please send us any emails if certain things aren't able to, you can't find it. It's just not easy. We're always looking for feedback on how we can update this website. So with that, as we go into the resources side of things, and everybody on this call as members should be able to access our Tech Talks. Okay, this is a purely for members by members. And so the whole result of this is really just about how's all of us trying to share our secret sauce. You know, what things we have learned? How can I let my fellow commissioning provider down the street kind of know the same thing that I'm doing, right? And so in here, when you click on your resources, you can go to Tech Talks. Now this is, you know, like I said, for members by members. So every chapter has a kick at the can at this every month to present. If you have a chapter or if you have something that you would like to present, please go ahead and, you know, send us in an email. But anyway, so you click into here and let's just go into airport baggage handling systems, which is something that I don't normally do. This is where the beauty of it becomes is this is a password protected. So Sherry, I hope I picked the right one, that it works. And if you can, Sherry, if you can tell me what that password is so that everybody else can, that's on this.
Yes, that. And we did get a question in the chat box about that. It's 22, capital B, capital C, little x, big A, exclamation point.
Yep. And so once you punch that in, it'll now come up as a video, and you can sit here and kind of watch it, collect stuff, you know, grab some interesting information, share it with your team wherever you go. I do know that one of our chapter leaders, our board members here in the Southwest chapter, actually uses this as a teaching aid for some of his students. So questions, I hope everybody got that. If not, we will post that in the chat, what that password is. So moving along, we all have CEUs, especially those of us who have either a PE or a CCP. You know, and the question comes up is, how do we continue our education? Okay, first of all, Tom will talk a little bit about that within our conference and some of the upcoming information. So if you go in here into the university, it's actually a pretty substantial website. Okay, it will, and this is where some confusing part is. So it will take you to what we call our learning software. So it will take you to a separate page. But in here, you can do an a la carte. So online learning, you get your CEUs. This is a paid programming, but you can go in here and you can find different courses that you want to, talk about. What do you want to do? What do you want to? Sure. So this is what this is what the other side of the course looks like, right? This is where you're going to sign up for our annual membership, our annual conference, right? Whether it be virtual, you have the new construction commissioning, you have the existing building courses that come up. This is also one place that after the conference, you can come back in here and you can now start to pick through some of the courses that you wanted to see, but just you had that conflicting because you had to flip a coin at the conference of which one you go. So here's some past events that were some of the webinars that have happened over the past little while. We had an ongoing commissioning. So for those of you who are looking for some more ongoing commissioning, kind of directives, or got some questions or stuff, go into here. You can click on it, add it to your learning cart, watch it at your own time. I believe there's a couple questions at the end to get your CEUs and move on to the next one. So great on the BCA's part for holding this. Again, your certificates I had mentioned, if you want to, Kevin, I believe you just taught the existing building, but this is where you can go in. If you want to learn more about new construction commissioning, add it to your cart and then sign up for it, and you're ready to go. We'll punch back to the website. So questions, concerns, feel free to reach out to any one of us. Sherry will help you out a little bit as to what your needs. One of the other things I really like about this website here too is I tend to go back to the resources side of things quite a bit. And whether it be, I've had some people kind of come into into the BCA, and they're asking, like, hey, I've moved into this area, but I'm not sure who's hiring. Job postings are always a great thing for every one of us. Right? You can click it up, and if you're moving across country, the firm that you're working for now isn't necessarily, doesn't necessarily do work in that part of the country. There's a great resource for anybody to kind of look through and just to see what people are doing. The other one I really enjoy, that I really like, is the templates. You may be looking for, how do you do an OPR, right? What is somebody down the street, or what is someone in the next chapter over? What have they done for an OPR? What have they done for a systems manual? And so what I like is I come into here and you can download it as a resource. It comes as a Word document. You can take the whole thing. You can present it to your owner. You can take the bits and pieces of it that will fit your RFP that you're looking for, and and bring it in and continue to build your library. And this is a great way for all of us to kind of stay consistent across the country. And then last but not least, best practices. And I believe Liz will have a little conversation about this. So what is the best practices for your ongoing? What is your best practices for your existing? What is the best practices for new construction? So this is a great way to come in here and download these documents that a great effort has gone into this to kind of develop. And then now you can sit here and, if your owner is asking about what's the best practice to do in existing, you can hand them this document, you can send them this link, and then now they can download it. Okay, on that note, I will pass it off to Mr. Poling to have a little bit of a conversation about what's coming up here in the next little while with our conference.
Thank you, Vince. I'll go ahead and put my part of the screen up. Everybody should hopefully see the conference page of our website. Are we good, Sherry? Okay. So we're talking about our website. We're talking about all the information that's available here, and certainly the big one of the big events of our year, a highlight of our year, is our national conference. Our national conference is coming up here very quickly in a month, September 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. It'll be at the Renaissance Phoenix Glendale Hotel and Spa here in about a month, Glendale, Arizona. And so you might wonder, what is it about that conference that I would be interested in? Let's start with just the fact that it's a 3-day event. It's not going to be just classes. So if you go on our website, a number of ways to look at what's going to happen over the 3 days, anywhere from our conference agenda itself to some of our pre-conference events down here at the bottom. I want to hit the pre-conference stuff first. So if you come in on the 21st, which is a Wednesday, there's a couple of activities. We're going to have activities going all day. There's 4 different activities that are available. In the past, we've had different things aimed at specific members. We're really trying to be very diverse in the offerings that we present. So some of them might be technical. For example, we have a building enclosure workshop that's going to start at 9 o'clock. And run over to that real quick. It's being held by Ish Keener. Here's the information on the workshop. So if you want to know a little bit more about some of the learning objectives, digging deeper into building enclosure tasks, the why we do it, what are the items that we need to do for performance testing and for scheduling of these tasks, what are some of the requirements we need to do to be in compliance with LEED and other things. So we have a workshop going from 9 to 2 on Wednesday. And then we also have a golf tournament that's going to be held starting at 7:30. So if you go down to the front page and you look at some of our Scholarship Foundation events, you go here, there's 2 events that you can participate on Wednesday. One is our golf tournament. It's our scholarship tournament. I don't know if you know that the BCA has a scholarship that we have a foundation that drives a scholarship every year. We use these kind of events to fund our scholarship program. The intent there is to find people within our organization that are looking to drive more education, right? So if you're looking to take additional courses, whether they be training within commissioning, whether they be college courses, et cetera, look, we run a scholarship program to help educate our members and those that will benefit from commissioning. So we have our scholarship golf tournament, which will be on Wednesday starting at 7:30 at the Wigwam Golf Resort. For those of you that don't play golf, we also have an axe throwing tournament that starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That will be at an axe throwing locale that's just within walking distance of the hotel. A lot of things that we're doing are pretty close to the hotel itself. So that'll be at 4 o'clock. And then if you go back to the conference page and you look at the agenda, you look at the pre-conference page. There's also at 6:30 that evening will be our annual membership dinner and meeting. This particular year, we're going to do it at the hotel, but we're going to bring in the Yellowbird Productions, which is a local group that is there to tell us about the history, the culture, and the dance of Native American tribes that are close to the Phoenix area. So we're going to do a little education and training about local customs, but also more importantly, we're also going to get together and do a little bit of a download as far as the BCA, some of our ongoing activities. How are we doing with our initiatives? So it's a good place to, in a pretty low key way, get together with other members and learn more about what the BCA is up to. So we're going to do that at 6:30. So there's a lot of activities that are going on Wednesday. So we highly encourage you to make plans to come in for more than just the 2 days. But if you're really only there to get down to business and do the 2-day conference, the conference will start on Thursday morning. And so it's a 2-day conference. It will start first thing in the morning. We have a keynote. And when you get on our website here, you will see the full agenda and then the timing of how everything fits. So our keynote will start at 8:30. We are bringing together a panel to discuss, the future of the built environment. Things are changing, as you all know. How does commissioning fit in that from perspectives outside of the BCA? So we're bringing in panelists from ASHRAE, from ASHE, and from others that will give their opinions on how commissioning fits into our ever-changing environment. Within our conference itself, there are 5 different tracks, which are shown up here. So we always have an essentials track. We call it the Back to Basics. It's some of our fundamental information. We'll talk about some of our processes, OPRs, pre-functional checklists, et cetera. So for the younger or for the folks that are newer to the industry, it's really aimed at some of the fundamentals of commissioning. Then we have other tracks. We have a track tied to whole building commissioning, and whole building, of course, is not just it started as MEP and building automation, but for us, for the BCA, we really are trying to push whole building. So that would be building envelope, that would be fire alarm, that would be electrical systems. And so the track here is specific to getting outside the MEP box and talking about topics around the whole building scenario. Track 3 then talks about technology. Of course, technology is a huge piece of what we do. anywhere from IoT issues to MBCX to cybersecurity. So a lot of information on day 2. Of course, we have an exhibitors hall. It's going to be there as well. So we're bringing experts, vendors, into the hotel. You have the opportunity to sit down with them and go into a deep dive of their software, their sensors, their companies, to learn more about how they can help you in your business. Day 2 of the conference is on Friday. And then we have two tracks. Track 4 is going to be on the business of commissioning, talking about how to execute commissioning, whether it's in project delivery and how to do meetings with trade partners, et cetera. And then the other track 5 is on hot topics. So if you've been listening to us in the last year, our push is really on topics such as decarbonization and sustainability. It's on indoor air quality. It's on building electrification. So we're really trying to bring those hot topics to our conference. So there'll be a section on that. The last piece is our town hall discussion at 2:45. So the last piece, we like to do these town halls at the end of our conferences to get people together. God knows that commissioning folks have their opinions on how we should run our industry. And so we give you the opportunity to come and have your voice be heard. On this one, we're talking about best practices. Commissioning and building environments change all the time. Should best practices change? And so the ability to have a back and forth conversation on learning more about our best practices and what we're doing in the future and how you can be a part of that. So lots of activities during the week itself. And so if you're interested in learning more about how to sign up for that, go to our conference page, go to the registration section, learn more, and then this will give you the details on how to sign up for it. This is the information on the hotel and how to get the hotel reservations. Some dates to keep in mind coming up. We have early bird registration tied to the hotel. That early bird rate will expire at the end of this week. So if you're even leaning that way, think about getting your hotel registration pulled together this week to get the better rate. So there's a link here to get to look at our hotel website there. And then when it comes to the conference registration, there's again, part of the benefit of being a member is getting the reduced rate for the conference. And so you can see member pricing versus non-member pricing, the splits there. And there's 3 different ways to participate in our conference. The one that we would love to see you all be a part of the most is to meet us in person in Phoenix, right? We're going to do a hybrid conference this year. So we're going to do it in person and we're also going to do it virtual. There are tremendous benefits to both ways. And certainly we're trying to fit it around your calendar and what's going on in your life, right? So we're all doing virtual conferences these days, and there's benefits to that. The ability, to get in and not have to do the travel is one thing. Certainly on the virtual side, you have the opportunity to gain 27 CEUs by participating in the conference. I went through the agenda real fast, and you can see there's a lot of information. There's a lot of cool tracks, and a lot of times it's simultaneous. So the hard part is if you're in person, it's like, well, which one do I choose? I want to go to track 2, but I really want to know more about track 1. Well, if you sign up for our conference, you'll get the recordings of all of them, right? So you'll have the ability to see and to participate in all 27 CEUs. So there's a great benefit to at least signing up for that virtual piece. The piece that you're missing, though, when you're not doing the in-person, though, is the full 3-day experience, right? So the ability to get there, to be a part of the pre-conference activities, to be able to network with your peers, we have not only commissioning providers, we have contractors, we have engineers, we have vendors. So it's always the conversations in between the tracks that I think are very, very valuable. The relationships that you meet, the business that you're going to do, right? If you have business opportunities and partners that you want to do, these are the places to have those conversations. So there is great value to being there in person, and so we give you that opportunity as well. The last piece is our corporate registration. So we're offering the ability to have 10 virtual seats as part of the corporate piece. And again, where the value to that is now you have the ability to, at a pretty reasonable rate. I mean, we're talking about something like on the order of $10 a CEU. Actually, I'm probably underselling it there, right? It's like 25 bucks a CEU, I think, to have the entire content of the conference at your fingertips, right? So if you want to do training for your teams internally, let's say you want to do training for your customers, you want to bring them in and do training, running it through the corporate registration is a way to get a whole lot of bang for your buck that way. So I highly recommend you come in, check out the agenda. If you're interested in registering, click on the links here. It'll take you to another website, to our PATH website, where you can start to look at some of the tracks. You can do the sign up for the memberships. This is where, as Vince said, this is where you will go in and start to, this is where you start to view the conference virtually. So all the information is right here within our website itself. Let's see, what did I miss? So there's a lot going on there. And oh, by the way, for sports fans like Kevin, I also wanted to throw out we're always throwing out the hook of, you're going to be there anyway. The hotel is right next to the football stadium. It's right next to the hockey arena. And so we managed to somehow schedule this to where there's preseason NHL hockey. So the Coyotes are playing the Blues on the 24th. They're playing the Ducks on the 25th. And then, oh, by the way, the world champion LA Rams are coming in and playing the Cardinals on the 25th as well. So hell, just stay for the whole week, right? And just hang out at the hotel, go play a little golf, learn some things, meet some people, go see some ball games, go play some top golf across the street, and get out of town for a few days. Your summer was busy. So, start your fall with a bang. September 21st to 23rd. That's our big event. The only other thing I wanted to talk about in terms of some of our upcoming, we have our fall webinar, which is coming up getting started on September the 12th. Harry Coons will be presenting on commissioning after COVID, some of the lessons learned of how we've had to commission through COVID and remote learning and all that kind of stuff. So look for those invitations on the 12th, the conference on the webinars on the 12th. There will be, like we always do, there'll be one every month here for the rest of the fall. So look for those announcements coming pretty soon. So that's what I know as far as upcoming events at a national level.
Awesome. Hey, Sherry, I just want to ask real quick on the conference, how many CEUs did we come up with that people can earn?
27.
27. So if you were to take that corporate registration and, it's $180 a registration, which you can share with your colleagues in your office or give to an owner, for example, right? And you take those 27 CEUs and divide it by the 180 and you're down to like $6.60 a CEU. So
Yeah.
You didn't oversell it, Tom.
I freaked out with the math. Sorry. I knew it was under 10 bucks, but I didn't want to lie to people. So, yeah.
That's American. So that's like $25 Canadian. So you were close, Tom.
Well, it's a great value no matter what. So if you're in person, you get the advantage of being there and doing the peer networking and being able to also go back and watch all of them. So we're excited to be able to offer that again this year as we all come out of the COVID. And John had a little technical problems getting in at the beginning. And so I do want to give him an opportunity to talk a little bit about what he's thought of his last year as president and maybe give his personal story about coming into the association. We kind of covered, John, a lot about the committees and where we're heading with our strategic plan and our visioning. But if you could talk about your last year and what you've learned here with the
sure.
BCA.
Yeah, thank you, Liz. Appreciate it. And thank you to all of you for joining the BCA. Thank you for making the decision to join this call too. I wish we had this call when I joined. It seems like you got like a year and a half of learning in about 30 minutes here, which is fantastic. What you will find, despite all the great things that we've heard about the conference and was on the webpage and all the resources that we have, is the BCA is about great people, hands down. And every group that you join will say, we have the best people. Well, I will tell you, I challenge them to put them up against our people. And it's not because we maybe are the smartest or we are the friendliest or whatever like that. What I will say is we have a strong desire and passion for this industry, and we're willing to teach, and we're willing to collaborate and work with others and so forth. And I think that is the true power of this. And you will find good, honest folks that, and we are friendly and we are fun and we are smart, but what makes us different is the willingness to share and really have a passion to advance this profession. You saw that with the values and all that. So it's reinforced throughout our entire fabric. So if you join this association and you aren't able to go to the conference or things, and you aren't able to actually meet people, it's a miss, right? Because the real strength is the relationships and the friendships that you develop here. And I will tell you, just like when you join every organization, and I would say there are times where I still feel like this, that you will feel like you don't fit in because you don't fit the mold. And that's a natural feeling. It's okay. But we, with you, are here to solve that challenge, right? And, so as an enclosure guy that knows nothing about MEP, believe me, I didn't feel like I fit in. And there are still conversations where I don't feel like I fit in, but very much, somebody thought that I filled in. I got in this position in the BCA. And so it is a very inclusive environment. It's an environment that is, again, built on learning new ideas and not thinking that we already have it all figured out. And that's also not one where there's these big clicks or you got to put in your 20 years before you get to do a position. There's ways that you can participate right away, and I'm sure you've heard about it. But our committees and our chapters is the lifeblood of the organization, and you can you can be involved, an active participant and leader in those almost from day one. And so those are the opportunities. And so I just encourage you, if you're kind of like, I don't know how it fits with me, you're not alone. Everyone's been like that. But don't go through your BCA experience relationship, whether it's 1 month or 3 decades, and not make good friends, because it's a miss. And we're just so happy to have you. And I hope to meet all of you in Phoenix or anytime soon.
So thanks for that, John. I think that I do want to remind everyone, because I don't know if we did this at the beginning, of 2 things. If you have specific questions or would like to share something with us, just let us know in the questions or the chat box, and we'll make sure we can get you unmuted and maybe share some of that. I also, if you didn't see the follow-up posting about this meeting today, if you do register for the conference, by the end of today, we're going to have a drawing for a in-person registration. So if you've already registered in person, great, you'll be entered. And if you're on this call, and if you are on this call and haven't registered, please do so. We had one of our sponsors offer up the registration. So we want to make sure you get to take care of that. Also, a 3-night stay at the hotel, so to help offset some of your costs to go there. And we also have a couple of Yeti mugs. We'll draw a couple of names and see if we can get some more of those Yeti mugs out there that we have on staff. Let's see. It looks like maybe we have a question, and I can't get it to open, Sherry. So you might have to do it.
It looks like the chat box is been disabled. So please ask your questions through the Q&A if you have a question.
Did any of you guys have anything else you wanted to add today? I know we covered a lot.
About not fitting in. So I challenge everybody to come, that is coming to the annual conference, that just feels like they're kind of a newcomer, just to kind of reach out to any one of us on this call, just tap us on the shoulder and just say, hey, I got questions. How do I do this? Or who is this? And we're all friends and we're all family. And just like I said, challenge just to come up and, tap us on the shoulder and ask us questions.
So I just got reminded that I forgot to share the best practices update. So best practices committee had, I think, finalized the new construction update. It's going to go to the board in September for approval. So that should be coming out. The existing building best practices is now in review. If you're interested in helping be part of the review for the existing best practices, I'm sure they would welcome you. And then starting in January of 2023, they will be doing the review of the ongoing best practices. So make sure if you're interested in any of those to, fill out that application, get it back over to Sherry or I, and we'll make sure you're included in those review practices. It is an important piece, and it is an incredibly valuable way for you to participate with the association and your practice of commissioning to make sure we get those entered and do correctly. We're also been considering other best practices that we might want to think about. So if you have ideas on that, let us know. Okay, so no other questions from anybody. Remember, it's in the Q&A. All righty.
Going once.
Well, we really do hope we'll see you guys in Phoenix. If not there sometime soon, join one of our committees or our chapters, chapter leadership, and maybe we can see you at our upcoming leadership conference, which will be next February. Those are always really important things to help us guide the industry forward. So think about that. And, if there's nothing else, I say we give the last 15 minutes back to everyone to get back to work and go make things happen.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.